Here is a detailed breakdown of the Secrets of the Weald meta. It takes place in Starlit Weald, which is the second map that you will get with the expansion Visions of Eternity. The meta will take place specifically around this location, which is west of the Priory Expedition waypoint. As for the timer, I will leave a wiki link below that will show you exactly when the meta starts based on your own time. The meta is divided into two main parts. In the first one, you will have 3 Inquest devices you will need to destroy at the same time, and they will happen in these 3 red circles. And once you are done with that part, then you will need to move in the middle and fight the main boss. This meta will need a lot of players and it will need some coordination. So if you plan on doing it, I would highly recommend checking the LFG. You will find it in the Visions of Eternity section in Starlit Weald. Also keep in mind, the timer shown in the wiki is when the meta will start the timer in the map. However, you will still have 5 minutes before the fight actually starts. As I said, the first part will require destroying Inquest devices. You will have north, east and south. Once you destroy any of them, you will have 30 seconds to destroy the other 2. And so to avoid any kind of problems, it will be very important to try and destroy all 3 devices roughly at the same time, which is exactly why you want to try and spread everyone as evenly as possible between all 3 devices. And it will also be important to keep an eye on the health bars for all devices, and if you notice that the device you are at is going down much faster than the others, you want to try and slow down your DPS significantly and allow the others to catch up. So now let's start explaining the details of how the fight will go. And we will start with the first part where you need to destroy the devices. During this entire phase, you must be standing inside the blue sector, otherwise you will not be able to damage the devices. And the sector will always be moving slowly, so make sure you are constantly moving with it. From 100% to 75, there is not that much that happens and you just need to focus on damaging the device. At 75%, it will go invulnerable and you will have a bunch of mobs that will spawn and you must destroy them first before you can continue. And during that part, when you look at the meta UI on the right side, you will see a second bar indicating how much more mobs you still need to kill. Once you are done, go back and stand in the blue sector and continue damaging the device. Starting from that part, the device will now constantly try to knock you down. So about every 10 or 15 seconds, there will be a shockwave that will come out, and if you didn't dodge it or jump, you will get knocked down. Before that happens, 3 small shockwaves will come out of the device as a warning. They will not do any damage or knock you back, and they are just for warning. After that, the big shockwave will come out, and this is the one that will knock you down and it will do some damage. At 50%, a break bar will appear, and so you need to use your CCs to destroy the bar, otherwise the DPS will slow down significantly. During that phase, there will be another mechanic where the device frequently is going to make you rotate around. This will only happen for a few seconds, and then afterwards you can reposition yourself inside the blue sector again. At 25%, the device will be invulnerable again, and the champion will spawn that you must kill first. Once or twice during that fight, he will cover a lot of the area in red AoEs, and you should try to avoid it because it will do heavy damage. Once you are done with the champion, you can go back and continue damaging the device until it's destroyed. But again, remember, you need to destroy all 3 devices at the same time, so always pay attention to the health bars of all the devices on the right side in the meta UI. If the coordination was not done very well and one of the devices went down before the others, it's not the end of the world and you still have a chance to recover. Basically, when that happens, that device that got regenerated will now have much higher health than the other 2. And so these other 2 devices should completely stop with the DPS until the other one catches up. And then all 3 of them can continue damaging again until all of them are destroyed roughly at the same time. Once you are done, you can now move on to the middle and you will get ready for phase 2. After a few seconds, a big boss is going to spawn and you will need to kill it. During the entire fight, the boss will frequently spawn pulsing AoEs under its feet, and you will see rotating lasers under the boss. This will do a lot of damage, and this is where a lot of players will go down. And so it is highly recommended when that happens that you speed up your heals and cleanses to keep everyone alive, or simply do some range until the lasers go away and then you can go back and melee the boss. Another thing that will happen is that a lot of players are going to turn into bunnies, and you will see a second bar that will show up under the boss health. It will say jump through the orbs. If you were one of the ones transformed into a bunny, basically what you need to do is jump onto the small orbs that you will see up in the air. This phase is just really easy and there is not much to it besides just jumping to the orbs and collecting them to fill up the bar. When you collect enough orbs as a bunny, this is going to spawn a break bar on the boss. And then of course you want to use your CCs to break bar, which will allow you to then do a lot more damage to the boss. And don't forget is that during that phase, if you have the war claw, this is one of the things you can use to break break bar if you don't have that much CCs in your build. Through the entire fight with the main boss, there will also be another attack that will do Shockwave that will knock you down and do some decent damage. Just like with the devices, you will have 3 small rings as a warning first. And as the third one comes out, then the Shockwave will follow right away. At 75%, the boss will disappear and it will summon a lot of illusions. And during that time, another bar will show up which is called Illusions Disrupted. During that time, what will happen, you will have 2 types of illusions. Only few of them will have a break bar and all the others will not. Every time you break bar on these illusions, it will contribute to the progress, and when you do that enough times, the boss will reappear again and you can continue. During that time, the main platform will have a lot of players and these illusions will most likely die quickly before you have a chance to break their bar. And so instead, what I would highly recommend is to jump to the islands on the side. These will still have a lot of illusions and you can break bar on some of them. And because there will not be many players on these islands, you will have a chance of actually breaking bar before they die. To go back to the main platform from these islands, you will need to use ley line. So don't go to the side islands unless you are able to do that. There's an achievement related to that part, and to finish it successfully, you need to break bar on 20 illusions in total. This doesn't have to happen during one meta, and you can do it over multiple times. From 75%, the boss will have a new mechanic. Portals are going to spawn around the platform and they will pull you into them. You can clearly see their AoEs and most of the time you will be able to avoid them easily. However, if you got caught in the AoE and got sucked by the portal, all that will happen is that it will teleport you up and you will need to glide back to the platform. If you got caught in these AoEs and you don't have any leap or teleport skills, then another thing you can do is get on your Warclaw or your Skimmer and get to safety. At 50%, the boss will disappear again, and this time you need to go back to the ground level where the Inquest devices were. This time you will need to fight champions, one at north, one at east, and one at south. These champions will not be hard at all, however, at 50% they will go invulnerable, and they will be shielded by 3 other NPCs. And you will see a tether going from the boss to each one of these NPCs. All you need to do is just kill the NPCs, and then when you are done, you can continue damaging the champion. Keep in mind, just like the first phase, if you kill any of the champions, 30 seconds timer will show up, and you must kill the other 2 within that period, otherwise it will regenerate. However, this part is usually much easier and it does not require that much coordination. After you are done with the champions, you will see a bunch of ley lines and you can go up to the main platform and continue fighting the boss. And then at 25%, you will have the illusions that will spawn again and you need to break bar. When you are completely done and you kill the boss, wait until the platform goes all the way down again, because then extra chests will spawn. If you did the meta for the first time successfully, you will get a mastery point, and you will also get Relic of Castora, and you will also get the Alliance Field Glove Box. And when you do the meta for the first time per day, this will give you the Castora Hero Choice chest, and from here you can choose one of these 3 rewards. Also sometimes from the meta as a rare drop, you can get this item, Extremis Toke coat. You can sell it to a vendor for 3 gold, or you can talk to an Alliance Field Quartermaster vendor, and then you can exchange it with a stat selectable coat. In this tab you will have heavy, and then here light, and then here it will be medium. And you will need a little bit of karma for that. You will find these vendors in multiple locations in both maps and they will appear as a purple sword. And one of them will be very close to the foothold waypoint. Other rewards you will get will be the Raw Enchanting Stone and the Starlit Weald Renown Token and the Castora Cash. And these rewards you can get more than once per day. Also, killing the boss will open up a place that will be previously closed. And you can also go inside that place, which will be on the west side, and you will have another mastery point you can interact with. You will also have a point of interest inside if you are interested in map completion. Now here are some general tips that will help throughout the fight. The first tip, even if you are playing as a DPS, try to have at least 1 cleanse and 1 stun break because you will need it throughout the entire fight. The second tip is regarding communication, because this meta will be new for everyone and it will take at least few months until everyone is familiar with the mechanics. And so I would highly recommend communicating in local chat, because this is the most reliable way for people to see the message. And if you see a player doing something they are not supposed to do, don't necessarily yell at them because there's a very high chance they simply don't know what to do. Instead, just explain what they need to do and that's it. And the third tip is regarding the build itself. During the meta, if you can easily switch to a support or a healing build, that will be highly recommended. because most players will be playing DPS builds. Another tip, regardless of the build you are using, is to have some pulls, especially during the first part when you are damaging the Inquest devices. That's because you will have a lot of mobs that will spawn during that time, and it will help a lot and make things much smoother if you can cleave them while you are damaging the devices. I still have more guides to come, especially for Visions of Eternity, so if you found this guide helpful, make sure to subscribe. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next guide.